You are listening to the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast, where you discover management insights and strategies for your successful dental practice. There are also interviews with key people in the industry who have advice and services to help you and your team achieve great success. Welcome to this episode of the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast. Today, I'm joined by somebody who's really special and who I want to welcome back into the program on multiple opportunities in the future, because she's going to have such a wealth of knowledge to share and insights to share with us all. And that is motivational speaker and transformational coach and facilitator, Chalita Tesler. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. It's an absolute privilege to have this session with you and to empower others on their journey.
It's such an important space. I mean, we were talking just prior to start hitting the record button about there is obviously this rising need for people to get some assistance and guidance and to learn the tools in order to master themselves, understand themselves, but also master and their understanding of other people as well, because, you know, we're working in dental teams with this, you work with a whole bunch of teams, but we're talking to a bunch of dental team members out there, and we need to understand ourselves, but also understand others and how our brains work and how our awareness works in order to get the best out of all of that. And part of your work is with people who are, you know, going, not just struggling with certain situations of life, but just struggling with life in general as well, anxiety, beliefs, depression, things like that. And something that has come into my awareness of late, and if anyone says that I'm wrong, please tell me, because this is the information I've got to date, that if you are struggling, if you're a dental professional and you are struggling and you choose to go off and see an APRA-registered psychologist, psychiatrist, counsellor, for assistance, you go there with the understanding that if anything is revealed in that session, that practitioner, that psychologist, for example, has an APRA obligation to let them know that something concerning has, you know, been shared in that session. And it may then affect your registration as a dental practitioner, therefore your career, your ability to earn a living. I find that terrible because I liken it to, what if you went to a lawyer and you had to be guarded about what you said? What if you went to a doctor, a cancer doctor, and you had to be guarded about what you say? You don't share everything. How can they properly help you? And are you going to stop yourself from going off and seeking the help you need because you're not willing to bear the potential consequence of doing that? So I personally don't love that. But what it does do is help us understand that there is additional help out there where conversations can remain truly confidential and the help and assistance that's provided can be quite transformational. What do you think about all that, Chalita?
Oh, Julie, I could not agree more. I mean, really, it's so important to firstly acknowledge your feelings. And then once you understand there is dissatisfaction, there is anxiety, there is stress happening within your own being, it is so important to then find a safe place to be able to let that out, to be able to express it and talk about it, as that way you're able to then heal. But it's very important that that is done in a place that is a safe space, and that you are provided with, I guess, a space where you are not judged, where you are free to express yourself for how you feel, because they're your feelings and no one else's, and that you are able to then receive guidance and support in that safe way as well. So it's important to have a trusted mentor, a trusted guide, a coach, anyone really that really you find a safe space with, and then be able to move along your healing journey. And I suppose that through the transformational coaching that I do provide that self space, and through the healing modalities such as kinesiology, such as sound healing, tools and practices, I am able to then provide a shortcut to that healing process, where we tap into those limiting beliefs and programs that are not ours, but someone else's, and reprogram them so that we are able to then be empowered through acceptance and be able to then unlock the life that we all seek to have.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love shifting away from that more traditional form of therapy that it takes years and years and years and it kind of goes on forever. And because it is possible to bring it down, it is possible to go far more subconscious and start adjusting things that just change our whole experience of life. Tell us about how you became a motivational speaker and transformational coach.
Oh, that's a great question. I've always had a deep-seated passion to help people. And I suppose in my own journey of self-empowerment and personal development, I always had a deep sense of really understanding why I do what I do and fundamentally why others do what they do. Because let's face it, we're all, living our life amongst people and having our relationships, whether it's with family, of course, with colleagues, with friends, with our children. And so it's really important to understand what drives you as well as what drives other people. And so at the very core of my passion has always been to empower people to be the best they can possibly be through my own journey. And I suppose through my own journey, I have undertaken a number of different modalities, such as sound healing, kinesiology, yoga, meditation practices, as well as professional development as well in the realm of facilitation, in the realm of business coaching and workplace, and really supported corporations within really private and public sectors to achieve the goals that they are seeking to achieve. But fundamentally, what really drove me was witnessing that through the healing journey that I was able to be successful for me, I was then able to help others transform and align with their own authentic selves and be able to then witness them living their deepest desires. And it's an absolute privilege to do that, where I can see my clients breaking through their limiting beliefs, overcoming obstacles and embracing their full potential are just some incredible outcomes that I've seen. So it's really been interesting to see that as we transform our limiting beliefs to empowering ones, that we are then able to live a life by our design that is defined by our own authenticity, our own purpose. And that is where we really gain utmost fulfillment.
It's really getting out of our own way, isn't it?
100%. It's those self-sabotaging, beliefs that we don't realize. And 95% of what we do comes from our subconscious mind. So our mind is made up of conscious and subconscious. So the subconscious is all of our habits, all of the programs that as a child we heard, we took on board, right? And so if you think about 95% of what you do is based on a program, then you have to ask yourself, whose program am I living? Whose program am I running? Because that is fundamental to bringing you closer to living a life that is aligned with who you are as a soul.
And I think a lot of people say, it's just me, that's just who I am. But it's recognizing it doesn't have to be. You've got complete and utter choice in this. In fact, you're the only one that does have complete and utter choice in this to actually roll out a different reality for yourself.
Oh, absolutely, Julie. I really couldn't say it any more clearer, that we always have a choice. And the thing is, if you love your life, if you love your experiences, then nothing has to change. But if you feel that something is missing, and that's how I really embarked on my journey, if something was missing, then be curious as to what is missing. Be brave enough to question those limiting beliefs, because we become what we think about. And if we are not liking our experiences, then it's as simple or as hard as changing our story. But ultimately, we are in control of what we choose to do, what we choose to think about, because everything else we don't have control over. What people say, what people think, what people do, we don't have control over that. So the only control we have is how we respond, is how we think, and what we're going to focus on. And as soon as we change that focus, then we make ultimately the right decisions that are aligned to who we are and take action and reap the rewards. However, you need to be guided on that journey. You need to have the right people around you that empower you, that give you that support, which is so fundamental, particularly in this day and age with so much, where everything is happening so fast. You know, we've got so much information coming at us from all different areas, right? And we feel that, you know, if we don't keep up, we're missing out. We're not good enough. So that affirmation of I am not good enough, how many times do we repeat that in our mind? And, you know, if we say something 3 times or more, it is an affirmation, and that is what we attract. So if we say I'm not good enough repeatedly, we then attract experiences, roles where we are put in a position where we're not good enough. We attract relationships that make us feel we're not worthy or deserving, etc., etc. So it's important to understand that we have the power to change, to make change in our life. We are responsible for that, nobody else. And once you realize that change is as simple as changing your self-talk, it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
I love it. And you said the word responsibility, responsible, but responsibility, it all comes back down to that. Because the minute we're going down that path of saying, I feel so stressed that it's because I own a dental practice, or I feel really unhappy, but that's because that person left me, or my friend said something upsetting to me. I feel so stressed all the time there's no time for anything because that's my busy life. The minute we are saying that's because, we are giving all our power away to the situations around us. And it's up to us to say, things are very busy, it's making me feel harassed. It's only up to me to do something about that.
100%. And you talked about power, and it's so important to understand that every moment of the day, we choose what we do with our power. We are powerful beings. Either we're giving our power away, which disempowers us, or we're bringing that power within us and working towards where it is that we want to be. Ultimately, the decision is ours. So by saying yes to others and saying no to yourself, that means you're really filling someone else's cup before you fill yours. Now, once your cup is empty, there is nothing left to give to anyone, especially yourself. So it's very important that you take the time for self-care, especially at this time where, you know, that there's so much, as I said, so much change, and none of us like change. Change can be painful. I mean, we're all sitting in our comfort zone at times, right? Because we're afraid to take that leap. We're afraid to speak up. We're afraid to change to a different role, you know, make any changes in our life. However, that is where we see the greatest growth. And what happens in that is that's where your most fulfilled life lives. It's outside of that comfort zone. I mean, if you look back into any decisions that you've made, where did you feel the ultimate sense of fulfillment? Was it in your comfort zone, or when
Never.
you faced that fear, you know, or is it when you face that fear? So I tell my clients, really evaluate, go into the space, be brave enough to evaluate your fears and go there, because that's where your greatest growth lies.
It is. And it's interesting. I think sometimes we can think to ourselves, and we keep ourselves in the comfort zone because of this. The minute I start feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit fearful, a little bit stressed out, something's terribly wrong. And I'm either not doing life correctly, or I've got to start resisting all the things that are around me that are making me feel that way. But as you say, remaining in the comfort zone, being comfortable all the time, means you're literally standing still to the point where you're actually going backwards, because life is continuing to move forwards while you're hanging back here. But in order to, you think about in any part of your life, when you've made that decision, you go, okay, that's enough. I've had enough of this now. Now I'm leaving that partner. It doesn't do anything for me. Or now I'm changing my child's behavior because they're just getting too attitudinal and rude. Or now I'm changing my jobs. I'm over this job. It's because of discomfort that trigger us into action. And so if we're remaining in the comfort zone, we're not providing ourselves the opportunity to opt for the better thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as you said, change really happens as soon as you make that decision to change, fundamentally, right? And putting actions in place to help you get there. Tangible, realistic actions. But also being mindful that 95%, as I said, of your thoughts that go on are your limiting beliefs. So it's about having those goals, but also at the same time, letting go of those limiting beliefs, coming back to who you are, let go of the baggage, that really is not yours to carry, right? And start living your life. And it's important to understand that we are here as soul beings living a human experience, right? So we are here to remember who we are. So and a lot of the time we are our own worst critic with self-criticism, right? With self-judgment, assuming assumptions, expectations. That's all baggage, scaring ourselves. What's going to happen? So really imagining the worst possible outcome in the future and not letting go of the past. So what happens? You're living in this present moment, not really living, right? Because you are using imagination potentially for the worst and not for the best. So my advice to clients is always stop scaring yourselves. Look at the present moment as the time it is right now. We are now in the present moment. There's nothing else that exists except for what's happening right now. And really choose to focus on the good. I mean, we know what's not working. We know what's not pleasant, right? But remembering that we are powerful beings, right? And as soon as we step into who we are, it is absolutely incredible, remarkable, the synchronicities that unfold, right? That is the principle of manifestation. There's rules of manifestation that you have to vibrate at your own frequency, your own authenticity, to then attract experiences, relationships, surprises that most feel incredible to you with deepest satisfaction. So it's important to understand that nothing around us is happening to us. We are all co-creators of our reality. And once we understand that, right, we bring our power back, because then we're in a position to change that.
Because we often think to ourselves, oh, when I get the ideal working team, things will be better. When I get the ideal relationship, things will be better. When I get more money, things will be better. We keep looking for the external changing environment to trigger, all of a sudden, by magic, we'll become happy. But you're saying it's the other way around.
100%. It all starts within. And the good part is that once you understand that any traumas, any experiences, any breakdowns in relationships, in a career that didn't go the way that you wanted, any hardships are simply lessons. When you look at that as opportunities to grow, then the lesson is learned. It's all about us learning lessons. And once that lesson is learned, the cycle is complete. But if we don't learn that lesson, we will attract the same experiences in different bodies, in different situations, but the same experiences until we learn those lessons. So really reflect on your life and really see the repetition of those lessons, because we all have to do the work. That no one else can do that for us. And it's important to understand, whilst it can be hard, whilst it may be painful, but real magic happens when breakthroughs happen.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. And you're really indicating the importance of getting a guide through this as well. Because, when you have a conversation with somebody, if you're at a party and you just said, what's your purpose in life? Most people wouldn't be able to simply state that. They're not as consciously aware of that. They may have thought about it in the past, come up with something in the past, but not many people live a daily awareness of that. What are your values? Oh, let me have a think about that. So for a start, I think the guidance is needed just to get ourselves to that space where we are realizing what we want out of life and what really lights us up in life. But then when you're talking about things like manifestation in core beliefs and how they control 95% of our thoughts and actions and responses to the outside world, this is a space as well that unless you're doing that work all the time, or unless you've been through and you still practice every day these self-awareness, self-development concepts, that I feel like they're just out of reach for you. So having a guide through all of that is enormously powerful.
Oh, absolutely. It's so important to be able to have a trusted mentor, one that you can really look up to, someone who inspires you, someone who has achieved what you want to achieve, and let them teach you. I mean, that's a shortcut, right? Because success breeds success. And so find someone who already has achieved what it is that you're seeking, whether it be, physically, emotionally, mentally, on all realms, right? And connect with them and be guided by them, because it's like a really quick short book to really achieving what it is that you truly desire. And along that process, you will find yourself who you are more and more. So, right, where I'm peeling those layers that have, that we've taken on board ourselves to then really not knowing who we are at times. We do get lost because we keep living the same life, right? We have the same career, we are surrounded by the same people, situations, etc. And we then find ourselves that if we don't get curious with what we are attracting in our experiences, then we're just responding to life. But that's not necessarily what's going to give us ultimate fulfillment and meaning in life.
Yeah, that's right. And it's really about, I think we think that in order to change my life and to become that happier person, that more powerful person, that whatever, then I have to continue living my life as me. And if I keep doing the right things, then magically I'll become the new person. But I remember doing an exercise with a buddy who's a coach, and she took me through this process of identifying what life I wanted, and then what person would have that life. How would they respond to challenges? How would they spend their days? All those sort of things. And I'm like, so I described that perfectly. And she said, now just become them. And I'm like, what? Just become them. Like, what is that? But it was a awakening moment for me, because I thought, well, I can, because I'm a big fan of fake it till you make it. It's amazing how many things I've faked it until I made it. It's extraordinary. But when you start stepping into that new role and doing the things that they do, you go, now I get it. I had to become it first. The situations around me don't change, and then I become a different person. I can't become a different person until I become a different person.
100%. And like we talked about before, we attract to ourselves experiences based on who we are in situations. So it's all about energy. So if you are operating from an energetic space of, I'm not worthy, I don't like, I don't want to do what I'm doing, I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving, etc. So you will really attract the same as how you feel. So it's very important to be able to recognize your own self-sabotages and blockages and let go of those unhealthy attachments. Really let go of the past. And that letting go has to be a must. And as a coach, that's what I start to tell my clients right at the start, that identify your goal. What is it that you want to achieve, right? Where do we start? And then why is it a must? Not a should, because it has to be a must. Because like I said, stepping out of your comfort zone is not an easy process, right? And so if it's a must, then we don't question any hardships or challenges that may be encountered along the way of breaking through, of transformation. That's why it's important to identify what it is that you want to achieve and why it's a must. Well, it's a must because if you don't change anything, then nothing changes, right? So are you willing to live the next 20 years how you are now, right? So
That's
we've got...
it. And I remember doing a Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within, and one of the, you're probably already aware of this, one of the steps he takes you through is if you stayed exactly the same and didn't make all of these identified changes in your life, project yourself forward 5-10 years time and describe your life, and describe and kind of rebuke yourself for not making any improvements and what that would then mean. And Jordan Peterson has a fantastic thing too called self-authoring, and he developed it with, I think, 3 other professors as well. And I went through that process too, and I actually wrote up what my relationships, my business, my opinion of myself, all the things, what that would all look like in 5 to 10 years' time if I didn't change one thing. And it's a sad little, piece of paper. I tell you what, every time I read it, I burst into tears. I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
We all
But
have that
sometimes we think, oh, we've got to get a goal and aspire to the goal. But sometimes it's effective too to trigger us into taking that needed action, to have a good look at the anti-goal and just run screaming from it.
100%. And it's at those times that it's so critical to have the safe space, coming back to what we started to talk about, to have someone that you can reach out to talk through that, to help you along those times when you are experiencing setbacks, right? To have that trusted person that empowers you rather than disempowers you. It's so important to have that, because then you're able to break through those limiting beliefs and habits. You're able to then find actions and solutions that are empowering, right? And then you're able to shift your life experiences in the areas that you want to shift in, and experience absolute joy, fulfillment, and magic.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's like asking somebody, what do you really want out of life? You can have anything you choose. And I don't think people truly get that.
No, well, that's the thing. I mean, if you really think about, we understand that the law of manifestation is what you think, you say it, you get it, right? And if we really understood that that is really how it works, then wouldn't you think thoughts that you want to manifest and attract, right? But it's a habit. It's all about repetition. And like you said, fake it until you make it. Well, think about an intention you want to manifest, repeat it many, many times until one day you will actually start to believe it, and then you will see it happening in your life.
I love it. I love it. I started I listened to a Bruce Lipton. I love Bruce Lipton in the Biology of Belief. And he's got a fantastic 6-minute grab that I've seen with different music backgrounds and imagery. So I think a lot of different people have kind of used that as a way of putting yet another motivational thing out there. But I love it. But he does talk about how it is our internal beliefs that, and our core beliefs that have been established before the age of 7 that direct us. It's like having a 7-year-old direct my life. Me going to a 7-year-old, what should I think about this? How should I respond to that? It seems crazy in our logical brain, but in essence, that's what's certainly happening with 95% of our responses to life. But one of the things he said was that to change some of the limiting beliefs, one of the things is to do the affirmations, but not just a affirmation on a fridge on a post-it note. That's more like a suggestion, this repeated message. And I've spoken to my audience about this on a number of occasions, that this is back when I was living coastal, and I would go on an hour and a half walk every day. And I started listening to the Bruce Lipton thing, and then saying, and at the time I had 5 consulting clients at the one time, and that was a lot for me. I thought, I don't know if I'm good enough to do 5, and what if I don't have enough time and things? And so I started telling myself, there's plenty of time, there's plenty of time, there's plenty of time, there's plenty of time. And I started repeating this to myself just under my breath as I was on my hour and a half walk. While I was I can't even remember now, it was years ago, but maybe let's say 20 minutes into the walk, I realized that at the start of that walk, when I was saying there's plenty of time for a start, my subconscious was saying, no, there's not. There's limited. You're lying to yourself. But I'm like, no, I'm going to keep repeating it anyway. But then about 20 minutes into the walk, I realized that I was then thinking about normal conscious thought stuff. Like, I've got to contact that person back. What will I have for dinner when I get home? I'll have a shower first and then I'll do this. And I was thinking about all these things. But the tape playing in the back of my brain was, there's plenty of time, there's plenty of time, there's plenty of time. And I was amazed. It was only after maybe 2, 3, 4 days that I started functioning like there was plenty of time. And I was getting a while much more done. It's amazing how much time we waste in just resisting tasks. But I did it then for, I'm really confident, I'm super confident, I'm a super performer and all these other things. And it worked. And that was a really enormous shift for me, because I think a lot of us think these are subconscious beliefs that have been around for such a long time. I don't know how to think a different way.
Absolutely. And through the healing work that I do, through emotional release sessions, we really do tap into those subconscious beliefs that are so deep seated from our parents, our grandparents. And in fact, Julie, it goes back 9 generations in our DNA. So unless we do the work, unless we really are willing, like I said, be brave and courageous enough to go there and really let go of all that baggage, all those self-sabotaging, limiting beliefs, that's where the true magic happens. And so what I do with my clients is I really help them shortcut that process through sound therapy, through color therapy, through a number of guided meditations that really shorten that journey, really, through transformational tools and practices, then help guide clients to let go of those past traumas towards a life of true fulfillment and authenticity. And like you said, when that happens, when you let go of all that baggage, then you start to see the magic happen in your life. You start to attract the people, the career, the relationships, the work, everything starts to magically come to you effortlessly. So that's where the beauty is. But it's about firstly acknowledging where your blockages lie and turning them around, flipping them.
And we're talking about the experience of life on a minute-to-minute basis. Our lives are so precious. We are consciously aware of ourselves all the time. And can you imagine if that was just delightful, effortless, happy, successful, whatever success means to us?
Oh, I can imagine, because, like I said, I believe you can't be a coach for anyone if you haven't really experienced it in your life. And I really say to everyone, if I can do it, you can do it. We all can do it, because it's really within us to co-create the life that we desire. And we have that power. And it's really just about bringing into existence what already is. And that's just being aware of the energy that sits within us, and therefore what is vibrating that essentially will attract back to us. It's like a radio station, right? So we're tuning into a particular frequency, a particular station. We can't go onto a different station, right? So if we don't like the vibration that's coming back at us, we need to consciously change that frequency that we're operating in. And a good way to question where you are is how you feel about yourself. How do you feel about the universe? Asking yourself those questions. And that's when when you look at, other people, are they more successful, or, luck happens to others, but not to me? What kind of thoughts, what kind of self-talk goes on repeatedly, and exploring that. And then being able to work through that to then change your thoughts, and then ultimately change the way you feel about yourself. And through the change of the feeling, you are then able to change your vibration and the results that you're attracting.
Oh, it's so glorious. It's so glorious. And I'm so pleased I'm just going to list through a few of the areas that I'm going to drag you back onto this podcast to talk about. And let me just get my little PDF up here. Here we go. Mastering the rules of manifestation. That's an area that I'm really intrigued to learn much more about. Self-empowerment and conscious leadership. Leadership is such an enormous thing for dental practice owners and managers to really understand the level of control they have about that, and the relationship that they have with those that they manage. So that's a huge one. Build trust within the team. Managing anxiety and stress. Being your authentic self. Mastering mindfulness to lead with confidence, and meditations for mindfulness, for manifestation as well. So you have got so many areas where it's going to be so relevant for dental teams. So I'm so thrilled. But tell me a little bit about, what does it look like? What does the journey look like if someone was to call you now and say, I listened to this magnificent podcast episode and I wanted to get your assistance with things. I feel like I have got a whole series of limiting beliefs that are stopping me from being able to achieve what I want to achieve in life. What does the journey look like for them?
Yeah, so firstly, we start with uncovering your blockages. Really, what is stagnant in your life? What is it that you want to change, right? And exploring that. And then discovering your purpose, essentially. Going back to what you enjoy doing, what gives you most joy, what ignites you, what empowers you. And then talking about what is it that you would like to put in place? What is it that you would like to manifest? What is your intention? And so in that, then we then transform through a number of different modalities your self-limiting beliefs, and then put tangible actions and goals in order for you to bring about change and bring about those manifestations faster. So it's really about providing you with the relevant support that you feel empowered and noticing tangible transformations and changes in your life in the direction that you want to go to. And witnessing incredible synchronicities towards having a life that you truly desire and deserve. So it's really about applying a number of transformational tools, exercises, practices. I give you a number of, combination of different healing modalities, such as through the use of color and affirmations. So it's a combination of physical and spiritual transformational coaching, where you are then able to transform those experiences that are not bringing you to the life that you truly desire to live.
I love it. I love it. And I'm so intrigued about the sound therapy and the color therapy as well. And we do have, there are many people out there that can look at a situation in life and say, that's the reason I can't achieve the level of success that I want. But we've got the control over that as well. If we just take on that role of responsibility for ourselves, that no longer will that thing play such a negative impact in my life.
Oh, 100%. And once we understand that, it is powerful, extremely powerful, that we're able to take stock of our life and steer it in the direction we want to go. Rather than responding to life, we are able to proactively live the life, right, that we truly want to live.
Oh, I love it. And with the sound therapy and the color therapy, what brought you to those spaces?
Oh, like I said, it was through my own healing journey that I was really interested in energy, because it's all energy. So through the use of the sound crystal bowls, that sound bath under a sacred geometrical pyramid that clients go under, they're then able to shift those blockages and emotional traumas, if you like, under a pyramid, and manifest the life that they wish to live, right? So it's having that one-stop shop, that integrated healing, if you like, that enables you to let go and allow. So let go of what's not serving you and bring in the new, right? So through a combination of those sounds that you hear, it will transform your energy across all of your energetic points, your chakras. And through the use of color, through the Aurosoma system, we're able to look into what the blockages are, those deep-seated blockages, by the colors that you choose. So it's a combination of those modalities we're able to shift and let go of what's no longer serving us.
Oh, how exciting. How exciting. And do you need to work one-on-one physically with people, or can you do work online as well?
Absolutely. Group coaching, 100%. So that's, in the corporate or one-on-one. It's really, whether we're achieving goals as a group, as a team, or are we working to bring out the best in our team in order to achieve our strategic goals and objectives, and taking people along that journey, whereby we don't tell them these are your KPIs and you have to adhere to those, and you have X time to deliver those, but rather witnessing your team really being passionate about delivering to those outcomes, really delving into how can you empower your team rather than disempower them through the course of activities that need to be done. So it's really looking in those ways. So it's really empowering the team all along to be on that same mindset. And of course, one-on-one. So, if you instill those leadership, those empowering qualities within yourself, then you're able to do so, be able to lead the team, if you like, lead your life, lead others along the journey. So one-on-one coaching, I also really, it's really effective if you prefer to do it one-on-one.
Yeah, and online and offline?
Yes, online and offline. I mean, through COVID, it was really online.
Yeah, that's right. For all of us, didn't it?
Exactly. But again, it's we change it. Any hurdles we look as opportunities, right? And look what it's allowed us to do now. We've got an opportunity to work anywhere, anytime, and it's incredible what we have achieved in such a short time. Really, so
the speed with the flip was just amazing. Everyone adapted so very quickly. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
They adapted possibly more physically, but sometimes mentally, psychologically, that was where the adaptation may have struggled a little bit with some areas. So I would love to have our next episode focus on how we can get teams, how we can look at teams and work with our teams in a way that is more conducive kind of to the humanness of us all, rather than just those logistics that we've got to get done every day. I'd love to talk about that and have that as a focus next time.
Oh, 100%. I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's really, really empowering, and it will, it works. And I really look forward to helping and sharing those tools and practices that have really worked for myself and the corporations that I've assisted with as well throughout the years. So really
wonderful. And if anyone wants to contact you straight away, I'll pop all your links in the show notes, but what's their best next step?
Connect with me via Instagram. So follow me on Instagram. Book a session with me, and we'll go through your immediate needs and priorities and put an action plan. So I really look forward to the work.
Well, thank you so much. And I really do encourage people out there, if you are finding things stressful and you've got some anxieties going on, or you just think life should surely be easier than this, it can be. And it's just really taking claim of your life, empowering yourself, using guides like Chalita to be able to step you through the process to have a different experience of life. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited about our future episodes as well, but sharing so many insights already. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Absolute privilege to have a session with you on this. So thank you.
Pleasure. See you next time.
See you next time.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, then you should come along and join the club. The club is a whole library of lunch and learns, with new lunch and learns being produced all the time, that help your dental team gain greater success in your systems, in your team behaviours, in your patient management, in your patient engagement, in their treatment plans. They are usually around half an hour in length, and so team members can sit down, be paid for their lunch break, eat lunch while they're being inspired, and delivered all of these insights and strategies that can be implemented so you all achieve greater levels of success. Also, Amina and I, my buddy from Dental Management Expertise, have a company, Dental Business Mastery, together. And our flagship online 1-year course for dental practice managers and dental practice owners to learn how to very successfully manage your dental practice is available. Head over to dentalbusinessmastery.com.au to find out more information, and has information about any other courses that we've got available. Also, make sure you do jump onto my website, julieparkerpracticesuccess.com.au, and you will see a whole load of free information. There are articles, the blog, downloads, templates, a whole load of things that are designed to help you overcome any specific challenge that you've got going on in your practice at the moment. If you have any suggestions of topics or guests that I can have on the podcast, please let me know. Thanks for listening.